We'll just wait here.
So much energy drink. Oh, hey, we're live. Metal Lab is live this week, episode 156. We're talking X-Men, we're talking wackiness, and I'm joined this week by the Ginger God, Mr. PJ Bolin, the slightly grayer than me God, Mike White, Jay.
Oh, hi.
And after a long absence, much missed and much wanted, Mr. Tom Kerr has returned.
Hey, everybody. Hooray! We'll see how long we get through this. Thank you all. Thank you.
Here's hoping his internet keeps up.
Yes, exactly. This is the real, I may be back, but the internet may have other ideas.
All right. So without further ado, guys, we're going to start the show the same way we always do. How's your week in Heroclix been, Tom? How's your absence in Heroclix been?
It's been very busy. I've not really been doing much in the way of Heroclix stuff at all for near the better part of almost 3 months. Just kind of a bit of a hiatus, focused largely on work. There was a show that I was performing in as well as music directing up in North York that we played and got through that, and that was cool. And then there was the holidays, a little bit of family stuff that needed to be dealt with and is still ongoing. And honestly, a little bit of soul searching. I'm not going to blabber on for too long, but I mean, what I found was happening a little bit as far as Heroclix was concerned towards the mid and later part of last year is, you know, it's kind of like that old idea that if you want to be a writer, then you have to be a good reader. And if you want to work in film and television, then, you know, you should be watching films and television. You want to write plays, you should see plays, etc. If you want to talk about Heroclix all the time, then you should play more Heroclix. And I was finding it was getting harder and harder to keep up with playing regularly. I would try to make it a competitive tournaments, but I wasn't playing casually as much as I'd like to. I wasn't practicing as much as I'd like to. And I felt like, you know, it was starting to become an exercise in talking about a thing without living the thing. And so it's been nice to have a little bit of a hiatus to get my head together so that I can come back and really play and enjoy playing for the sake of playing and enjoy being here for the sake of being here, because I enjoy being here and I enjoy this community, and I would rather be able to devote the time to do it right rather than just sort of talking out of my backside and playing once every 2 months.
It's all right. If you actually listen to our weeks in review, it sounds like a lot of us are only playing like once every 2 months.
That's what I'm trying to get back from.
PJ, how about you? How's your week been?
Pretty lackluster. Didn't play any, but did a lot of brewing. Built for like post-rotation modern and started building for Pat's event. Started doing some hypothetical builds for my own event that I'm running, just so I can give people some ideas if they're drawing blanks. Booked my flight and hotel to go to Majestics in March. Other than that, that's it.
Awesome. All right. You know, Majestics, it's a regional that you're planning for, right?
It's one of his open series that they're...
Okay, I guess he's all
to his regional, more or less.
Okay,
you can travel without to come back for his regional.
Yeah, he always runs a great event, and it's always super popular, and like the number of people that show up rivals some of the bigger events in some cases, and the quality of player there is incredible. So it's we're worth a go if you can make it at some point. And I swear it's on my Heroclix bucket list at some point.
I had a great time when I went this past year.
Mike?
It was a good week in Heroclix. Got to play 2 different times, Thursday night and Sunday. I posted a team on the Heroclix team builds there on the Discord, and I played that team on Thursday. So my technically Justice League Elite team, which really is a Suicide Squad team, and then you take Sister Superior, who turns them all into Justice League Elite. So, so it's Sister Superior, King Shark, Nightshade, Amanda Waller from Joker's Wild, Deadshot, the prize one, and the 50-point Secret Six Harley Quinn from Harley Quinn set. And then I throw Frognir on there because I love when my buddy King Shark picks up Frognir. So it was fun. Only 3 of us showed up for that event, but both games I got super lucky. I won map roll, and I played on Hydra Island. So King Shark was a dominant force. In fact, Jay and I played a game, and we tied our initiative roll and then re-rolled, and I won map. And I was so happy I won map because that was the key to my being able to beat his crazy. Was it Gotham Underworld team?
No, Legion of Doom.
Legion of Doom team. It was an awesome team. It was a great team. So I was very lucky. King Shark's a beast. I fall more and more in love with that figure every day. I have to make a meta winning team with that figure. I have to make it happen. So I'm probably already telling everybody what I'm going to play at Nationals. I got to make King Shark work somehow. I don't know. I'm kind of obsessed with him right now. And then a game on Sunday was another fun game. 6 people came out, which was awesome because it was freezing cold.
Nice.
So and 6 is a high number for lately. Like, it's tough this time of year with holidays and the weather in Toronto and lots of other places. It's tough convincing people to make a trek out in that kind of weather. So 6 people was great. So everybody got 3 rounds, mixing it up. Played a fun Asgardian team. Tom, I think you would have liked it with 145 points Asgardian flying around Hulk.
Yep.
Thor Odin's son, Jane Foster, and what's her face? Enchantress.
Nice.
And Enchanted Crowbar.
Mm.
I let Hulk pick up the Enchanted Crowbar. He loves the Enchanted Crowbar. He's a lot of fun prying through things with that. Fun team, Enchantress, way more effective figure than I think a lot of people realize. Being able to move people 1 square who are within 6, especially because 2 of my games were against like swarm teams of JSA guys. So it was like, I'm going to move you 1, and you 1, and you 1, and you 1. Wonderful idea for breaking away. Okay, I'll just move you here, and I'll move you here. So all my guys don't have to break away anymore. It was great. Unfortunately, my dice decided to pull the good old miss by 1.
The Saint Walker.
Everything. And I needed 5s. I needed 5s. Dude. I have 12 attack. I have 2 guys with 12 attack. Anyway, still had a great time. So yeah, I got to play Clixed, and I got to play Clixed with figures, lots of different figures and trying out stuff. So great week.
All right. Jay?
I also played the exact same tournaments as Mike. The first one was at 400 Modern with just almost basically limited. Oh no, it was ROC. No, it was ROC Age.
Yeah, ROC Age. 400 ROC Age.
So I had 75 point Joker Lex, Slosh Riddler, Thug, Ape Superman, and some other Legion of Doom stuff in the
Gorilla Grodd.
He is so overcosted.
Oh, so overcosted.
Yeah. And even with all my teammates are useless ATA because Mike had 15 attack dead shot, he got pinged. He got hit for 6 with invulnerabilities, so that was not fun for him. And then I played against Devin with just random X-Force, and I somehow managed to crit miss like every other attack, and that was terrible. And then we had 500 Modern, basically limited on Sunday, so I brought 2 teams. One was Casey Shazam, Casey Spectre, and then they picked up Thunderstrike and a Torso, respectively, along with 2 Bat Knights, Lower Point Casey Green Lantern, and Lower Point Batman. Played against a JSA Swarm, followed by a couple X-Men, including the amazing Quicksilver, and I won both those games. Then I played against Glenn's technically All-Star Squadron, playing a Sister Superior King Shark team of my own, which was her, him, Shifting Focus Batman, God of War Wonder Woman, Thug for Filler, and Nightshade. And because he had like 8 to my 6, he won map roll and put us on a map with no water, but I still managed to make some attacks with King Shark and somehow won despite the Wonder Woman just missing every impervious roll and dying way too quickly. And also at one point actually had her close combat expert shut off by Wildcat's trait that says you can't use it if you're adjacent, which has actually come up for me playing him myself. So that was ridiculous that it actually happened, and we had a good time. And I think we termed it a Mike Payne, which is when you win the tournament that you're running.
I'm the one who said that. I said, "Oh, you're pulling a Mike Payne."
Yeah,
That's
every time. So that was fun. And then for this coming week, we have some random nonsense. It was like, it's called blatant marketing or something. Like, you get extra probs if you buy stuff, celebrities named, and you get extra stats based on if you're wearing merchandise with your characters. So I put together Spider-Man family stuff, X-Addict stuff, and random Bruce Wayne just hanging around. So it'll be fun.
This would be perfect for my name dropping and whoring ways that we want.
Speaking of name dropping and marketing, most of my Heroclix work this week has been on the new format on the Metafix, as I'm starting to build my teams for Canadian Nationals and eventually Worlds, and I'm kind of sharing my process on that because I don't know about how to share much more of the thought process of the game on that show. I mean, there's probably infinite topics I can talk about, but I don't think I'm qualified to talk about them.
Unqualified for infinite topics.
Yeah.
Be a good business card.
Unqualified for infinite topics, but finite numbers I can handle. Also, I feel like I've kind of beaten around the bush enough. It's time to kind of show off a little bit of how I'm doing it, how at least my insanity works, so that it's on record now and people can associate my stupidity with how I get to things.
That's good. You want stupidity is best in as public a form as possible.
I'm really looking forward to the mistake I made in the episode, as we're going to talk about something later on that came up for my team, and I cover myself in advance. Like, I'm not sure about certain details, so I'm going to need to readjust from there. But let's just say a figure cost 5 points more than I thought he was going to at initial planning.
Cheater!
Oh, sorry.
It's not really cheating if you don't put it on the board. It's all hypothetical still, right?
You want to think I'm cheating?
It's metaphysical cheating, boys. All right, you're sick of looking at my face. You guys want to talk about previews at this point, so let's get rid of me and let's start with Rusty. Rusty's got the Mutant Liberation Front, New Mutants and X Factor keywords. His name is Russell Collins, no relation. His special attack power, 3rd degree burns, penetrating psychic blast. When Rusty hits an opposing character, give that character a fire token if it doesn't already have one. Characters with a fire token have, at the beginning of your turn, deal this character 1 penetrating damage. When this character moves through water terrain or clears action tokens, remove the fire token. He's got some running shot to start, some sidestep, but what you see is what you get. It's a 40-point dial. Tom, I know you're a little rusty.
No!
So let's talk about Rusty.
He's right. I totally am. All right. That's the other thing I should have mentioned is I've been so far out of this game that I'm going to be talking some serious trash. So correct me when I am wrong. Honestly, 40 points for barrier is not a bad start. Then again, it's also, you don't get a whole lot past it. I mean, the running shot, 2 damage, psychic blast is fine. Fire tokens are cool. But if it wasn't for the fact that there have been some good barrier makers coming out lately, even I've seen that, and I've been out of the game. I still think that he has function, but he doesn't really blow me away. Again, 40-point barrier is not bad, but you might be able to find better barrier options.
For 5 points less.
Yeah.
It's free action.
Exactly.
PJ may have 6 of them. What's up, PJ? What do you think of
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of this guy, other than 40-point barrier. That's really all he's got going for him. For sealed, he's probably playable. Running shot Pinsai with free damage. And then, barrier is always useful. 6 range is okay. I'm curious to see if he will have a Clixed effect or not, because I think that they're probably going to be gone and that they're just done with those. But he has the exact effect that would have it, so that's kind of all I care about this piece for, is to see if they're done with that or not.
Yeah, to kind of jump on that, Amber made an observation that this was worded like a Magic card. Incidentally, we were playing Magic this weekend too. But in the common slot, I highly doubt you're going to see a Clixed effects base get packaged with this guy.
I agree.
Mike?
Yeah, I would agree that they're done with those. I'm pretty sure that they expect us to use ones from other ones or dig up those sets they sold with the weird number of them in there. Boy, was that a mistake. But anyway, we won't get into that. Rusty, everybody pretty much covered it. I mean, he's not I mean, he's 40 points. So, like, you know, if you're in sealed, you're sitting there and you're building, and you're like, well, you know, why not? I mean, 10 attack, the barrier, side blast isn't so bad, especially if you can throw the token on penetrating wise. Thematically, I could see me throwing him on an X Factor team if I was playing maybe at a higher point level, like not 300 points, maybe like 40 or 400 or 500 point build with X Factor, because I could put him on a team with WizKid, and WizKid would make him a little more effective. And you know, he's 40 points, but he's not gonna wow the meta. That's for sure. Not gonna see no Rusty. Oh, that Rusty.
Jay?
All I can add at this point is that I don't think there's been a character lower than rare with a Clixed FX. So, yeah, he probably wouldn't have got one anyways. But the last time we saw one was, Rainbow Deadpool or Spider Carnage. It's not that far back, but I don't know. Just feel like at this point, this is more new rules languagey, so I think that's just probably what they're going to want to do with it as far as the attachy kind of ones go. So, I don't know. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think I can add on to this dumping on the character, but he's not out of the picture for Seal, that's for sure. He's got his uses. All right, speaking of being a realist, let's talk about Magneto Realist. The title character. Acolytes and Brotherhood of Mutants keywords. He's a title character, so most of his cool stuff is on the inside of the card. Because if you're not familiar, title characters generally have what you see is what you get dials. And I think on only one case have they ever been indomitable, and that was Thor. So his title character abilities. First of all, when he is KO'd, friendly characters modify damage -1 for the rest of the game. His +1, free, all friendly characters within range modify attack +1 until your next turn. His -2, free, move all friendly characters within range up to 2 squares. And then his -9, which is his ultimate ability, as we'll call it, for the rest of the game, free for the rest of the game, as long as Magneto Realist is on the map, friendly characters modify damage +1. He starts with 3 plot points, so you're looking at about 6 turns to get to the 9. PJ, your thoughts on the Magneto title character?
I want to give him like a solid 6 out of 10. I don't think he's great. I think his dial is solid. He has great values. Solid 7 range. I think his title powers are okay. Like, he isn't gonna. I don't think he'll be great at a 300-point game, because you need a lot of other bodies to really utilize his title powers. So 300, I just don't think you're going to be able to really squeeze enough bodies in unless you're just playing like Penguin and other bog generators, which, I mean, then that's fine. If you want to try that, I think he'll work. I just really think his death effect is massive and very, very, very detrimental, because it permanently modifies all your damages -1. So that's no point.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, that's really the thing that keeps me from falling in love with him, because I don't hate his value at 100 points. I think he's got a great dial for a 100-point figure. Giving the +1 to all friendly characters within his 7 range is fantastic, for exactly the reason that PJ mentioned. If you throw him on a team with a lot of pog generators or anything that's able to generate a lot of other characters. But that, oh man, if you lose them, it's just, and again, yeah, if you're trying to build up a team and if you're not necessarily wanting to play Pog team, it's probably going to be a little tough to make him viable on a 300-point team. 400-point team, he could be nice. I'm excited for him, though, again, because Brotherhood of Mutants, I think he'll fill in nicely. I'll have some fun on some teams with him, but little just outside of maybe being meta because of his points.
All right, Jay?
He would be nice if he was a little more points and costed to get Indom. Because, yeah. Competitively, I don't know. It's hard to say, because he does some cool things. He works well with other stuff that is good. You can use him in Shredders. You can use him with Fast Forces Hulk. You can do some cool things. And neither of his keywords are really competitive, so you can just break theme and play Penguin, so you can just keep on racking up the title tokens. But yeah, that's probably one of the worst when KO title things we've ever seen. So that kind of just puts a big no on him for competitive for me, at least. I just don't see him facilitating anything so important right now as to risk that.
Oh, he's not looking so bad now, eh, everybody? Tom, your thoughts?
Oh, sorry, I just got some bad news.
Sorry to hear that.
It's okay. It's not personal. Well, it was, I guess, Dolores O'Riordan passed today. Did you guys hear this?
Yeah, from the camera. You're just finding out now?
I just found out, yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's not on social media like us.
Yeah, fair enough. That's right. Yeah.
All right,
He's a
well,
social media hermit.
sorry about that.
It's okay.
You guys pretty much nailed it. I mean, the last thing I read was the part about damage -1 for the rest of the game. I often forget about that effect since I'm so used to it being like a one-turn effect that I kind of throw it on the end. So I was in the middle of getting really excited for him. I was like, because also it says all friendly characters within range. So that includes him, right? It doesn't say all other friendlies. So he's giving himself a permanent +1 attack every time he goes to attack, which is the condition you have to meet in order to get those plot points. So there's absolutely no reason not to do it all the time. And his attack values are pretty stellar if he's looking at 12s and 11s for pretty much the whole dial after that modification. But yeah, he dies and everybody's -1 for the rest of the game damage. You really got to have that in mind. So, like, the only thing I think that maybe there's a chance of is some kind of risk play. I mean, if you really want to try to chance it, play under the assumption your opponent is really going to work hard to take him out, and then try to build a team that is either designed to draw them in with that promise and then punish them for going after him, or have some way of either, outsiders themselves or getting some way around the modifiers after he is dead if it ever happens. It's a risk play, and he is a really good dial for it, but I think it's a little riskier than I want to get involved with.
Especially because of that lack of willpower, man. Like,
yeah,
really,
the lack of
willpower
willpower really is pretty killer.
Because if he had that, then he'd be attacking for sure. 2 turns, boom, boom. Because of the exact point of putting the plot point token on, giving yourself a +1. Now he's running shot with a 12 attack Psychic Blast. Like, you're for sure going to attack 2 turns in a row. And for those 100 points, then you feel like, wow, I'm at least getting some points worth out of him. But you can't. It's just, damn it, so close.
Well, is 6
willpower
months to him at 112 points okay with Supreme Intelligence?
Yeah, well, that's obviously the direction people are going to go to put the willpower on it. Well, we'll give him stealth and willpower, which would be great for him. He would love that.
Again, you only get that for 6 months, though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so long term, and I'm going to have to agree, not looking fantastic, but there's a lot of potential in the character on the non-300 front. Probably really going to be good in sealed play.
Yeah,
especially how low these points skew on this stat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're playing them in sealed for sure. Come on.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Emma Frost, Hellfire Club, Hellions, and X-Men team ability. Headmaster Hellions, leadership and perplex, but only to target another friendly character with the Hellions keyword. During force construction, you may include 1 student ID card on your force without adding its cost. Student ID cards, it would appear, are 3 points each and lack inspiration because you're not really being inspired by somebody you're teaching, which is cool. And it also kind of adds to the flavor of these characters. There's a couple of headmasters out there. Anyway, I'm pushing you to be better is her trait. Other friendly characters with the Hellions keyword can use colossal stamina. And then it's a what you see is what you get dial for 50 points. Mike, thoughts on Emma Frost?
I mean, I like her. She's 50 points. Leadership is great on we got an X-Men set coming. She's got X-Men, Hellions, and Hellfire Club leadership for those guys. So lots of potential for her to be pulling tokens off. I would probably like 85-90% play her in sealed, I'm assuming, because based upon what other figures I'm going to get in this set, looking at her keywords and what she brings, I mean, I want perplex. Love what she does with Hellions. I like that. I'm pushing you to be better trait. I think that's great because at 50 points, that means there's plenty of room to have other Hellion characters on your team. Most of the ones we've seen so far, their points are in enough of an area that you could have, I think, probably like a 5-figure Hellions team. So it'd be nice to think of them continuously getting to act. So I like her. I think she's kind of fun. My only complaint is probably a minor one. It's based off of the cover that they chose to put on her, yet she doesn't have Dark X-Men keyword. That covers from the Dark Reign period when the Dark X-Men came along. So that's my only geek complaint about her. But everything else I like. Get your hate correct.
Holy hell. All right, Jay, your thoughts?
She looks fun for casual, but should never see non-sealed competitive play. Unfortunately, I mean, even if you're saying she has X-Men, they're just better headmasters at this point, like the Moira. She's not really doing much, unfortunately.
Fair enough. Tom?
I don't have much else to add. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool that if she takes a soft hit, she'll drop onto Outwit, and that might surprise some people. But again, it'll surprise some people in casual. I think you're right. As far as a competitive piece is concerned, it's hard to imagine a non-movement attacking, sort of short-range mind controller who's not especially well protected to do that well. Even though, honestly, for her points, it's not bad economy, and obviously leadership perplex on top of what you see is, yeah, it's good economy, but probably not anything to get excited about.
All right, PJ?
There is one thing that could make her meta, and I think that would be if we get like 175-point Hellion with a couple stop clicks.
yeah, that's true.
So if something happens that makes absolutely zero sense.
Yeah.
In a very niche circumstance.
I could be rich.
Yeah,
I won a lot of money.
We haven't seen the whole set yet, so
we're not wrong. We haven't seen the whole set yet.
Yeah. If we get a piece that says they get +2 to all their combat values if there's a character named Emma Frost on the map, then she's a lot better. Definitely, that'll nail it, I think.
I mean, she does technically have +1 attack or +1 defense if you bring the uncommon prime Magneto.
Well, she's got it herself.
Hellfire Club.
Oh, wait,
right?
Friendly character.
Yeah. So, well, because because for those of you who remember, the uncommon prime Magneto has that Hellfire Club characters can give themselves +1 attack or +1 defense as a free action. And then later down, it's +2 attack or +2 defense. So maybe she's a little better in that case, but I'm spending 125 points. I'm trying to be positive in this sense, but it's not looking good.
50 points to hand out colossal stamina is good. It just has to be a character worth getting it.
Yeah, because from what we've seen of the Hellions, we've seen, what, a 50-point Icarus?
Yeah.
Well, hey, Jay, look at it this way. The character you even mentioned, so that 75-point Prime Magneto, he's got TK to start. So you've only spent 125 points on your Hellfire Club. So you've still got 175 points left for other figures and so forth. And if she's giving him colossal stamina, well, his second, third, and fourth click is Pulse Wave.
Is she going to – I think he only has Hellfire Club and not Hellions.
Oh, that's right. Damn. Oh, because that would be great. I mean, come on. He's already got Indomitable. You'd just be pulse waving.
Maybe if you get a misprinted Magneto Prime that has a Hellions keyword.
I can write it really small.
You mean kind of like the, what was it, the
Merc with a mouth?
The Merc
with a mouth, who never got corrected. They're like, just leave it.
Nope, he's an X Factor now.
Yeah, he's an X Factor now.
Yeah, it's fine.
He's like on every team.
Playing with Darwin.
He's got like a Wolverine power.
All right. Next up, Old Man Logan. X-Men and future keyword. Longest road trip is his first trait. Once per game, if a friendly character that can use this trait is KO'd in an opponent's starting area, you take an extra turn after your next turn. Excuse me. And then broken healing factor. Regeneration. This is a trait, by the way. Regeneration. When Old Man Logan uses it, he heals 1 less. And then Mentor the Young. It gives him, this is his special damage power. Empower. Adjacent friendly characters of less points can use combat reflexes. If they already can, modify the defense by +1 instead. Let's see if I can't make this work, guys. Let's see here. We'll do this. There we go. There's his down.
Nice.
So he's Indomitable. He's got this stuff for stats. 75 points, and he's got a special damage power on his first 3 clicks.
Look at those defense numbers.
God, what
Was
year
this
is it?
Infinity Challenge?
15 defense. Hey, what do you think of Old Man Logan?
So do you say me?
Yeah, Jay.
You're up.
Oh my god.
That good, eh?
If yeah, sure. I'm gonna give up my 75-point character to take an extra turn. Sure. I mean, I'm already losing, and if I'm bringing him, I already resigned to losing. But he's. I mean, who knows what's in the rest of the set? If you can maybe make him more mobile, he can do some stuff. Good attack values all the way through. I mean, you never really know what could happen. But as is, he does not look like he'll be seeing much competitive play.
All right, Tom?
I'm sure that I can ensure that he's killed long before he gets to my opponent's starting area. If I can play him on a team, he'll be dead long before he gets there. Well, my favorite thing to do with a character who has very low defense is to run them across the entire map. I find that works really well. Maybe put them in a vehicle and have them jump out in the starting area and fall on their own sword.
Tom, you're going to have to stop. The sarcasm is making a goddamn mess of my house.
Oh, sorry. Honestly, it's like, well, I don't know. He's 7 clicks for 75 points. He can regen whenever he wants to, although, of course, it's not free, so he's just standing there trying to heal unsuccessfully. And his attack values are really good. Honestly, he actually kind of, now I think about it, wouldn't be a terrible pilot for a vehicle with those high values. But that's about all I can think I want to do with him. And I think there are better options for that, too. So he's not terrible. Honestly, with those kind of attack values, I would definitely play him in sealed because they're not going to be seeing necessarily a ton of prob. And you might be able to protect him long enough to get up close, and his up-close defense isn't bad. So, yeah, I'll play him in sealed. But I think he'd be hard to make work in competitive, but PJ is smarter than I am. What do you think, PJ?
I actually agree with pretty much everything he said. In sealed, I think he'll actually be a bomb. Just because, like, yes, there are some range pieces that we've seen so far, but depending on how it pans out, if we see a lot of close combat pieces, a guy that just hands out combat reflexes is going to be great. He obviously needs a little something to not he's going to need it to be carried. I don't think you ever plan on using his trait. If it happens, it happens. But like you said, if you wanted to put him in a vehicle and see what happens, sure. But 0 range is the gamble you're taking, making him a pilot. So maybe put him in like the invisible jet or invisible plane, whatever, has hypersonic, I think.
Yeah.
And to go with that. Yeah, I really like him for sealed. I wish he had like 2 more clicks to sidestep, but it is what it is.
All right, Mike.
I mean, I can't disagree with everything that they're saying. I totally agree. I mean, fun idea, and it's like that little carrot dangling there. Like, man, I so want to make that work, but if you're really building a team around trying to pull that off, I think you've probably lost the plot, as the expression goes. But saying that, I do look at him, and I look at X-Men keyword, and I especially look at future keyword. And I feel that there's ways of making a team with him at 75 points that is a team that would get your whole team to the other side of the map and is basically giving your opponent a choice of deal with Old Man Logan or deal with the rest of the team. If you don't deal with Old Man Logan, he's going to start slicing and dicing with the 12 attack. If you deal with the rest of the team, if you deal with Logan and he dies, then all of a sudden I've got 2 turns in a row. I don't know. I want to find a way to make that work. So that's on my to-do list when I have time, because I want to make it happen. I want to make it happen. I feel like there's something there, some kind of overdrive Rennet Tilly kind of crap that will bring him over. Again, future keyword, man. I see him
Rock Age with a morphing jar.
Ooh, gross.
Your morphing jar Black Talon combo. It still exists, kids.
Is it morphing jar on the ban list though?
Not just for Pat's events, not for.
Oh, okay.
Rock Age only has Faust banned.
Yeah, Golden Age. I mean, I would be already looking at him in Shatterstar or something like that as well, as some kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he's got to be less points than him.
Yeah, it's 2 points away.
Oh, that would have been fun. But I feel like there's something there. You could have fun with it, but I doubt it would take a lot of work, and I don't think it's really worth the risk to take in the meta right now.
Now, one thing that might be worth considering on this particular character was ID card call-in.
Yeah, I was going to say, would Wolverine work?
We're bound. It depends because there's already a student Wolverine that we know we're getting, but that's more based on the X-23. So it depends on whether or not a Wolverine card gets the Old Man Logan qualifying name on it. Because if that's the case,
that's a whole other story. Yeah,
that's a whole nother story. And we're actually looking at this guy with a better light, who brings a 12 attack charge with Blaze Claw's Fangs and Empower that hands out combat reflexes, in addition to whatever hopefully a Headmaster version of this inspiration offers up. So Wolverine's one of those cards we could see as both a student and a Headmaster, because the student card that we've seen already is based on the Laura Kinney X-23 version. So hypotheticals. Power of positivity, kids. All right, next up. The super rare Prime White Queen, Generation X, Hellfire Club, and X-Men keywords. Headmaster Generation X trait, so student brings in a student card and has leadership, perplex, and can only perplex Generation X students. Mind control, sidestep, and stealth is a special movement power. And then special damage power, empower, enhancement. When White Queen uses either power, she can instead affect friendly characters within 3 squares if they share a keyword with her. This sounds like we're going to have Big Barda effect on this one, where, she's within 3 of herself. She's friendly to herself. She shares keywords with herself. So X-Men team ability, 7 range, 2 targets. She is indomitable. Tom, what do you think of the super rare Prime White Queen?
I don't love her. She's not very many clicks for that point value, even if there is an awful lot loaded on top of those clicks. I will say this. I love Generation X. I'm super happy that we're getting Generation X clicks. That was a comic I used to read a lot of, and in light of what I was saying earlier in the podcast about the fact that I enjoy, just playing the game, want to play a little bit more fun stuff, then I will happily build some Generation X teams and put her at the back of them and watch her die. I don't know. This is another one where my challenge is getting over the fact that she's 3 not especially well defended clicks for 50 points, or 6 not like better defended but still 100 points for 6 clicks. They got to be 6 really good clicks, and by and large, her best use is leading another team of people who also aren't that great necessarily. But we'll see what happens.
All right, PJ.
Exact same. I think she just doesn't have a deep enough dial. We're seeing, we just saw a 75-point piece with 7 clicks, and now we have a 100-point piece with 6, and this is a super rare Prime. I think her move power is great. I think it makes sense thematically, and anything with sidestep stealth is just good. I wish her 50-point dial had 1 click of that. I think you definitely play her in sealed, just for the sidestep, 7 range, 2 targets. Other than that, I don't think she'll ever see any play in constructed, and that breaks my heart because I love Emma Frost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. Mike?
Yeah, they pretty much covered it. Depending on what I pulled, I could see me playing her in sealed because of that empower enhancement affecting herself and everybody around there within the 3. But yeah, she's sadly not going to see meta.
All right, Jake.
I think you definitely play her in sealed, but other than that, not so much with the constructed. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Next, we move on to Mr. Sinister, the Age of Apocalypse version. Age of Apocalypse, Horseman of Apocalypse, and Scientist keywords. Man of Mystery trait is shape change, so he is traded with shape change. Survival of the Age of Apocalypse. We've talked about this before, but we'll go over it one more time here for Tom. When Mr. Sinister is damaged by an opposing character, give that character a revenge token. When Mr. Sinister attacks a character with one or more tokens named revenge, modify attack and damage +1. When Mr. Sinister is KO'd, you may choose an opposing character with a token named revenge and remove all those tokens and roll that many d6s. For each roll of a 5 or 6, deal that character 1 penetrating damage. So this has got a special movement power, Lurking Manipulator, Stealth, and Sidestep. At the beginning of your turn, you may place Mr. Sinister adjacent to a friendly character within 6 squares. If you do, he can't make an attack this turn. And then he's 100 points with 6 range and that dial. Believe we're on to PJ on this one.
I'm actually glad I get to go first on this guy. I think he's my favorite piece spoiled so far. For meta play, I actually think he's super competitive. Granted, he's only 6 clicks for 100 points, but he has Invincible and Traded Shape Change. So he's a little more durable. You don't have to worry about him getting wrecked by shredders on the first 2 clicks. I just said how much I like Stealth Sidestep. And then him being able to Voop 6 squares away to any friendly character is huge. It doesn't matter that he can't make an attack because he can still call in an ID card. So I think that this guy will end up seeing play. I think the only thing that's bad about him is the lack of Indom. That seems to be a pretty standard thing right now. So, yeah, I like this guy a lot. Scientist keyword sweet too.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was really excited to see Mr. Sinister. I think we weren't sure what the 6th chase was going to be when we were all talking about it. So I was surprised I didn't think of him as an option. What I really like actually about that Lurking Manipulator power is the fact that he has it on the dial when he has leadership, and because of the timing of that, that's both still the beginning of your turn now. So he could move next to somebody and then roll his leadership and take a token off of somebody and then allow them to do something. So I think that's huge as well, because that's not a line of fire thing. That's just within 6 squares. So he could be protecting himself on one of those maps like the dungeon or that new Star Trek map and then just pop next to any one of his friends within 6, roll leadership, get leadership, pull a token off of them, and now all of a sudden they're acting. Maybe they were double tokened or something. And at 100 points, you could really fit them in. And again, as PJ mentioned, Traded Shape Change. I mean, who doesn't love shape change? Come on, that's saved my bacon so many times. So I think he's a great figure.
All right, Jay.
Yeah, meta-wise good, but it's kind of funny to me how I kind of like him more for meta and really not so much for casual, because without ID cards, he's not doing nearly as much, unfortunately. But yeah, for meta, you should definitely be seeing some play. And it's nice, now that we can't sidestep leadership anymore, that we're starting to get some sort of powers that allow you to actually still move in leadership to some degree. So that's nice.
And Tom.
Yep, I think you guys pretty much said it. He makes me wish you could still prop your regen rolls. Otherwise, he's cool.
On the plus side, it's a minimum 1.
Yes, no, it's true. On the negative side, he doesn't have willpower.
That's fair. That is fair. All right, we're going to go full screen on this one for a second. So the next thing we want to discuss, Scott Porter did his unboxing videos across the week. Always great to see him unboxing stuff, see his excitement level. The only challenge, of course, is not 100% of the cards and dials got shown. 2 of which come up with a lot of conversation. And it is WizKids kind of going to war on our behalf, or I don't know, with us in mind when they do this, in regards to affecting pick-a-power characters somehow. And those our answers to that, in this case, came in the form of Leech and Darwin. Now, Leech, I'm going off of memory here, but I believe he's, correct me if I'm wrong, 30 points?
Yep.
Okay. He's probably Morlock keyword.
I got him in front of me. He's got Generation X, Morlocks, Weapon X, and X Factor.
All right, cool. And he's about 4 clicks? 3 clicks, right?
3 clicks, all 3 clicks, 6 movement, 8 attack, 16 defense, except for 15 on the last one, 1 damage, stealth, and then the special power on damage on all 3 clicks.
All right, read that out, because that's an important element.
Sure, man. So do you want me to read the trait and then read the special power? I'll read them both.
Read them both,
So
yeah.
So the trait is locked down. Whenever an opposing character would use an effect that allows it to choose standard powers to use, you may first choose a standard power. This turn, that character can't choose that standard power that you choose. And then his special power on damage is don't get too close. Outwit. Each time Leech uses it, if his target was within 4 squares, after resolutions, he can use Outwit again, targeting a character not already targeted by his Outwit this turn. He can keep using it as long as he has targets.
Yeah.
Gross.
Pretty cool.
I want to put the Omega Drive on him, man.
Omega Drive. All right. The other one is Darwin. Now, this one kind of unofficial because Scott didn't really show the card on screen. Did a cold read. So this is based off the information that we have. Darwin has got the X-Men team ability, 35 points, 0 range, X Factor, and X-Men keywords. He's got the aquatic movement ability. Not a fantastic dial. It's 4 clicks with 2 special powers at the back end, which are both stop and regeneration. He's got the X student. When this character or an adjacent friendly character attack roll includes exactly 1/5, modify 1 target's defense -1, flavor trait for the most part. Here's where things get interesting. Instant adaptation. When Darwin is the target or is targeted with an attack, choose both these are traits by the way. When Darwin is targeted with an attack, choose a standard defense power. Darwin can use the chosen power for this attack. Then his second trait, I can adapt so much faster than you. Whenever another character uses an effect that allows it, choose 1 or more standard powers to use. After resolutions, deal that character 1 unavoidable damage. Now, I'm not sure 100% if it is actually unavoidable damage, but it could be that to a certain degree, Unimind's errata may have saved his life.
Yep.
But this is a drastic sign that WizKids is paying attention. They realize that they've made pick a power characters and they put in 2 hard answers to it. Now we've seen something like this in the past with the giant size X-Men set where we had a couple small characters that had very specific roles, such as I think Harry Leland comes to mind, where characters within a certain range couldn't use charge or running shot, or a number of the other Hellfire clubs that had very specific power stoppage, along with a few Hellions that did very similar things as well. So we've seen this before, and I kind of want to just kind of open up the floor to everybody one at a time, I guess. Just get your overall thoughts. Is this good for the game? Is this bad for the game? Does this change nothing in the grand scale? And I know I want to let Tom go first, but PJ has kind of voiced some opinions prior to the show that I want to hear more about. So PJ, if you want to give us a start on this one.
Totally.
So I want to start out with Mike left off one little part about Leech that's important. Leech is tiny, which is huge.
Okay. Well, it's tiny.
Yeah, which is very small, very small.
Get it?
So with Leech being tiny and primarily being focused around using Outwit, when you take Leech into a matchup and they don't have a pick-a-power piece, you can still get a lot of use out of Leech by just carrying it up into the fray with anyone and utilizing the Outwit. I am not a big fan of Darwin. I actually just don't think he's very good. Comparatively, I think Leech is significantly better. 5 less points actually stops you from getting the power. And then Darwin's big downside is he triggers Colossal Retaliation. I've seen people talking about it all over Facebook, but it's pretty cut and dry. Like, I can just, like, with my Goblin King, pick Perplex and whatever, perplex the attack on my Retaliator and jump over and smash into your team. So Surtur can kill him in one shot. If he doesn't, he'll probably pick like Super Senses. So if he doesn't hit the roll, then he just dies. So I'm looking forward more to Leech than I am to Darwin. I will definitely end up playing it. Darwin would have been significantly better about 2 years ago when all the possessors were still in, because the way he interacts with possessors is if they pick a power, they take the damage and immediately have to select again. So you can choose not to pick, but he literally just for 35 points says you don't have any possessors.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I think he would have been a lot better 2 years ago. And I think Leech is just the piece we needed. Albeit, I don't think pick-a-power pieces are all that oppressive right now. after the recent changes.
That's fair. All right, Mike, your thoughts?
Sorry, I just had to unmute there. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a little more excited about Darwin. I look at Darwin and I love the potential that's there. And again, with the X-Men keyword, we've got an X-Men set coming with lots and lots of stuff there. We've still got stuff that isn't retired out yet. 35 points. I can do a lot with him. I think we see enough pickup power going on that he's still very useful right now. And because he's only 35 points, it's like I don't have to give up much on my team to keep him on there as potential for that. And again, I mean, still he could come out of it pretty good defensively with both the picking a standard defense power anytime he gets attacked, and he's got 2 stop clicks at the end there. So he's a lot harder to kill than a lot of figures that are like 3-4 times the points that he is. So I'm pretty excited for Darwin. And again, I got to go back to keywords. Why I'm so much more excited for him than necessarily Leech. Leech, fantastic figure. I'm glad we have him. He's doing what I would expect him to do from reading him in the books. And I'm thankful that WizKids does seem to be sort of saying, okay, fine. Like if we've got to create this environment, we've got to have other things to balance it out, because that's always the problem in this game when it feels like everybody's building the same like 2-3 variations of teams. That's when the game gets stale. That's when there's problems. The best events are when you go and you don't know what you're going to face. There's like tons of different teams, tons of different combinations. You're trying to prepare for everything. That's when the game is at its best and thriving and pulls in more players. Nobody wants to come in and see Unimind at every table or, Yakeem at every table. That's never been fun. But I'm excited for both figures, man.
All right, Jay?
Yeah, I feel like Darwin is just too easy to deal with because of like PJ said, his thing is mandatory, so very easy to just trigger retaliation, hopefully one-shot him, and then you're ahead. And also, he creates this whole environment where it's like if everybody plays him, nobody's playing pickup power, so why are you playing him? So it turns into like a whole rock, paper, scissors thing with the game element, whereas Leech is just always useful. And as if Shredders didn't need the help, just being able to say no invincible for a pick a power is just yikes. So I was thinking of you because, of course, you hate rolling those bones. So yeah, he's just overall more useful, like all that outwit and whatnot. Now it's easy to shut off stealth, and we weren't playing him on a theme team anyway, so just play whatever you need to facilitate shutting off all the powers. Sorry, what? I
was just gonna say, Jay. Well, speaking of theme, him X Factor with Beast, who also has the power of from the last set of outwitting within 4, ignoring walls. Have him carry Leech with him, and Leech picks up Mega Drive in like a nice Golden Age event.
Golden Age is poisonous. So why WizKids has left the Golden Age behind.
Cut and run. But yeah, Leech is just overall he's what, 30 points you said?
Yeah, 30.
So yeah, never not useful. He'll definitely see play, whereas Darwin, it's kind of weird. And it's kind of funny how Darwin counters himself, where if he picks the defense power from his trait, and the other one deals him the damage and whatnot. So yeah, now I guess before they change Green Arrow and then the rest of the game along with him, his trait would have been way better. But now it's just you pick Super Senses or it's basically useless against those kind of characters.
Mm-hmm. All right, Tom?
Well, I think you guys covered a lot of it. I think that it should be noted, obviously, in case anyone is less aware of the meta, if they're watching and they're new to the game or they haven't been paying as much attention. This is a pretty direct salvo from WizKids to try to curb the meta domination of, I would say, 2 or 3 major pieces. I'm, of course, referring to Vartox. You see a lot of Vartox. Nico Manuro. I'm really tired of her dominating the game. SR Iron Man is the third one I was thinking. I mean, these guys, we've seen so much of these guys that I'm tired of going into every tournament thinking, like, how am I going to deal with Nico this time? Like, I'm tired of thinking I either build with Vartox or I build against Vartox. And I am tired of feeling that way about the game. So, like, the saturation of Nico, of Iron Man, like, we have to do something about it. And so I'm glad that WizKids has taken a stand and saying, you know, I'm sorry, on the sideline, unfortunately, is that we can't enjoy more balanced pieces like Jakeem Thunder or Unimind. Like, I'm sorry that they're going to suffer for WizKids' attempts to shut down our playing of Vartox. But if that's what it takes, then I guess it kind of makes sense. Otherwise, I think you guys pretty much covered it.
Tom, when you said you wanted to be on the show again, you could warn me if you're going to bring this much sarcasm this next time. I've only got so big a shovel. Only got so big a shovel.
Oh, well, you know.
All of these are very, very notable points. Leech does add a little bit more utility to the grand scale of it. Darwin is a little bit more offensive. Now, granted, what PJ said is not incorrect. He will have a bit of a hard time with the incoming Colossal Retaliation, but starting areas are big. I can put Darwin at the other side of the starting area, and he's fine, right? He can survive the salvo from Surtur, but by choosing Invincible, and then he takes 1 damage, and then he takes 1 penetrating damage on my first stop click. Or you deal all the damage in the first shot with 4 damage, and I'm on my first stop click. Then you deal a penetrating, I'm on my last click. Still alive, right?
It ignores stop clicks.
Does it ignore stop clicks? Doesn't matter. I'm still on my 4th click, right?
Well, if you perplex damage 1, and then he just one-shots him through everything.
Yeah.
He ignores all defense powers.
Fair enough. Okay, then I have to choose super senses.
How much does Surtur cost again?
25.
25. But then here we go. Darwin now causes people to use Surtur because people aren't really using Surtur when it comes down to it, right?
Well, they will now with the rules change.
Cool, yeah. Great.
Surtur
Finally, I mean, more characters are seeing the board, guys. How is this a problem?
I don't think, in all my honest opinion, jokes notwithstanding, is that I don't think it's a problem. I'm glad they gave us both. Because PJ really nailed it right at the gate. Leech is more useful on your general teams and perhaps less purely devastating to pick a power characters. You can build against Darwin more easily, but you know, you have to be sensitive to the fact that if anyone does play Darwin, he can really ruin your day if you aren't building against him. So having both is kind of fun. You play Leech and you play expecting the possibility of Darwin. And I like the fact that both are there for that reason.
And they both have X Factor.
That's true.
Oh, okay.
So you could play them both together.
And so does Deadpool Merc with a mouth.
Okay, so as a recorrection, then I put somebody who's useless or tougher next to Darwin, and now he doesn't lose his defense power because he can't get 1 target only. There's ways, man.
Make it happen, Jason.
I'm not going to force the issue. I'm probably going to use Leech because math. Because funny thing is, as a bit of a spoiler in my next episode, I do have to make some adjustments. I'm going to kind of stay the course with my last Devil Dinosaur team, but I got to lose Al Jordan because both these characters are kind of a problem for him.
Whoa.
Citizenship.
Whoa. Look, yeah, I was going to say, you're going to be kicked out of the country. Dude.
And America's at war with Canada. They put this new tax in. This is NAFTA, guys. This is the new NAFTA right here. The new NAFTA is actually Leech and Darwin. All right. But so yes, we're seeing a change beyond the erratas. We're seeing these two characters. Now, I have to ask the big existential question, because this is an important question in the grand scale of it. Is we had many moons ago, we had Copycat. We built around Copycat, and Copycat only saw one build. Are we going to run into the Copycat situation where we're afraid of this character, but we don't see this character? Or do we think these characters are going to see play. I can personally say I'm going to be playing Leech, so I feel like we're going to see more play. Leech is more. If people are listening to PJ's wisdom, yes, Leech is more likely to see play. But it's kind of where I'm leaning on that now. First of all, having been enlightened, because I didn't actually read Leech. I didn't understand him. I thought Darwin was all there was. So anyway, Tom, your thoughts on a grand scale? Do you think?
Well, yeah, I think Leech absolutely will, because the nice thing is that if Leech doesn't, even if you take out anything around pick a power, you've still got a tiny 30-point outwitter that's hiding in stealth and has the possibility of becoming better and better. So I think that absolutely he's a very playable piece in his own right. So you're not just playing him as a counter. So yeah, I think he'll see play for sure. Darwin will be, I think, more selective, but I do think that there are those who will play Darwin, particularly those who don't sort of expect that everybody's going to be, playing a pick a power plus a Surtur. Or just, I think that they will kind of have Leech in mind, so they kind of have to balance their team a little bit. And then I just think that there are extremists like myself that will play Darwin. I think Leech will see play in a more proper setting by actual players that are decent at Heroclix.
All right. PJ?
Just first, I want to point out that Pedro corrected me in our Discord that Surtur actually ignores Super Senses, Mastermind, Reflexes, all that stuff.
As long as he's targeting one single character.
Right, and his retaliation only targets one character.
Yeah.
I thought it was all characters within 2.
No, just that one character.
Yeah.
Okay, so you make a close combat attack targeting the chosen character, then do so. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So I just wanted to get that out of the way.
That's
and
fine.
then, I think
Darwin's trash, guys. There, PJ Bowen said it.
Yep, never play him except me.
Never.
Or Darwin's not trash because nobody's going to play Surtur still.
That's a possibility. I think Leech will see play, like Tom said. I don't expect a whole lot of Darwin too. What I think would be interesting is if people tried them as a chameleon disguise. So then you kind of have whatever you need if you need it, but you are taking like a 40-point hit if you're dropping down to Leech. So
well, Leech is tiny, so you can't to begin with.
So if you drop down to Darwin,
just like PJ said the first time when you dropped it down.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're supposed to hear. What I meant, not what I said. So I don't know. I think Leech will see main force play, and I think Darwin will see chameleon play, but probably not a whole lot of main force.
Fair enough, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with them. I myself am going to play Darwin on something for sure, and yeah, I think it's really super gross that he and Leech both have X Factor, and they're really lucky they're retiring out that old Iceman, because I would have a lot of fun with that Iceman, Leech, Darwin, and WizKid on an X Factor team. It would just be gross. So anyway, yeah, we'll see. I think we're going to see actually a fair amount of Leech. I think he's 30 points, right? Like, how often are you building a team and you get down to like 30, 35 points, and you'd love to be adding Perplex or some Prob or, that extra little bit. Well, why wouldn't you want to put Leech on a team, especially if you're not theme at that point? I think he'll definitely get more play than Darwin, but I'm going to play Darwin. It's going to be great.
Jay?
Yeah, with all the watch lists and the rules changes and all that stuff, I feel like we were already seeing hit and pick a power. So Darwin kind of is just the final nail there. But then that means he doesn't get play. So it's like, I don't know, you'll see the occasional pick a power, I'm sure. But
I think he still will.
Yeah, Leech will obviously see play. I mean, he's fantastic, especially because once we lose Brainiac, Eclipso, and the Teleporter, we're going to have a lot of 25 to 35-point gaps. And then, you can fill it in with Retaliators maybe, but just Leech is just so good. So, yeah, he should definitely be seeing a lot of play. Darwin will see, like, small amounts of play. But, yeah, who knows?
I was just trying to pull up some stuff here.
I'll play Darwin with high evolutionary. Evolution theme.
That's awesome.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, Darwin is really not protected by the new rules change on the defense power thing. If it wasn't for that new rules change,
So they silver bulleted their silver bullet?
They silver bulleted well, they did silver bulleted a damaging silver bullet. Let's not say he's the end all be all to these characters. These characters can still exist. They just have to kill Darwin first.
Or not pick anything for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I mean. It's kill Darwin before you start picking powers, right?
Like,
there's still tons of ways of getting powers, regardless of these specific pick powers, right? Because we still have equipment, right? We still have, I mean, for 6 more months, we still have Supreme Intelligence, right?
I guess it's too early yet to have a ruling, but does anyone, based on past experience, have a sense of how they will speak to characters that can choose from powers that are specifically named but are themselves standard powers? Thinking of like the Batman from Joker's Wild, where it says he can choose one of these and it lists powers.
Yeah, that he's going to be affected by that.
So basically, anyone who can choose to use a power.
Yeah.
There's a guy also that like picks up pill.
Yeah.
Nuke. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, what about like we've another piece that we've seen an awful lot of is Monster X all the time. Like he chooses a form, and the form gives him power. So how does that work?
Well, that's where things get a little wacky because that's not necessarily
because you're not directly picking powers. I don't think he affects because it says.
What about Darwin? Darwin is an effect that allows you to pick a standard power. I guess you're not picking a standard power.
Darwin and Leech will affect Darwin's and Darwin's.
And then what about pilot abilities?
Yeah, that too.
Take a damage vehicle.
Yeah. So no Empower on Overdrive anymore.
That's right.
That is actually relevant.
Well, it just means the vehicle blows up, Overdrive is out, and you didn't have to pick a power in the first place. His power's now on the board.
But then you're out of your vehicle.
Yeah.
What's that?
But you don't have your bicycle anymore.
Well, then you lost your vehicle.
But you have an object that used to be a vehicle, and now it's a vehicle again. It's an endless cycle of bullcrap, is what it is.
Get it? It's an endless cycle. Ah!
No, the pun.
Yeah. So I think you're right. They are going to have to clarify certain things, like in a character like Monster X, because he's specifically choosing a form, and that form happens to choose to give the powers. I think that's an indirect thing, kind of like how inspirations work. I choose an ID card, the inspiration happens to come from it, and it's not a character choosing the inspiration. The inspiration is coming from the effect.
Yeah, I agree. Or like
damage. If
what's that?
I'm on the 2.
The teleporter takes the damage. What do you say?
Does it take an unavoidable? Joking. I'm joking.
Yeah. No doubt that advanced that
obviously it does. Like,
yeah, of course.
Not a question.
Come on, guys.
I'm so happy this doesn't affect Title Harley Quinn, the best piece of all time.
Oh, just you wait. I have some plans for her.
It's funny.
So many plans for her.
I did write that Fringe article on her, so I was being sarcastic.
She was instrumental in my first WKO win. Instrumental.
Yes, that lovely sealed event you
sealed.
Yes, but think of the effect like that with, I don't know, Mr. Mxyzptlk.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I've been out of here for 3 months. Don't you mean Trelane?
No, Trelane only does actual attacks.
Oh. I really like Trelane.
Yeah.
I like the fact that we're getting Star Trek clicks because I like Star Trek a lot.
I just hope they ignore the sales on the original series and just go forward with the next generation.
Yeah, Borg.
Yeah. And, listen to me when I say underprint the next couple sets, then do next generation movie clicks again, because people will buy those. Trust me, guys. You got to listen to me on this.
Next generation movies were awful, though. You really want a Ruafo click?
No, but First Contact. That can be like 90% of the set. Make the chases from Insurrection and Nemesis, and I won't even care about them. Give me all my generic Borgs and my Borg Queen. That's what I want.
Shinzon Soren trying to take the Nexus. Oh my God, that was a bad movie. Speculating bad HeroClix. What you tune in for?
Oh man, we do that often. So before we get into questions, guys, is there anything else you guys wanted to bring up before we go on to that? Tom?
No, I'm glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
No problem. PJ?
Nope.
No. Mike?
No, I'm glad Tom's back too. Yay!
Jay?
My sides are still hurting too much to say anything or think of anything.
But that's
I went through something this weekend. It hurts to swallow. It's made my social life terrible.
Well, I mean,
how
much is that going to affect you?
On that weird joke, I just want to remind people that if you want to support us on Patreon, check us out at patreon.com/Clixed. Any valuation gets us access to the patron Discord, where we've been having some conversations throughout the day, or at least throughout the show, in regards to figuring out how things go. Any valuation, like I said, gets you access to the Discord. Just check your little thank you email that you get immediately afterwards, because I wonder if everybody's checked that recently or has not seen what's up, because I feel like not a lot of our patrons are checking that out. But that said, check us out patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. Nathaniel, leave him alone.
I agree, Nathaniel. I totally agree, Nathaniel. Where are the charts?
I know. I tell you.
Where are the charts?
Can you imagine? Like, this is how nerdy we are, Tom. Your most famous segment is pie charts of Heroclix instances on new sets and Excel sheets.
Yeah, I don't regret my choices.
I regret nothing.
I just want to point out what our show is famous for, apparently. So I don't know, Jay. Any of you guys not have a life and can just throw those together?
Before you asked the question, you suggested.
Because Tom apparently used to not have a life. Now he does have a life, so we can't do this anymore. Apparently,
no, anyone not have a life here? Jay, let's talk with you for a second.
Look, there's no way he has a life and knows much as far as an encyclopedic knowledge of this game as he does.
That's true. Yeah, you can just draw the pie charts live, and they would be accurate to within 95%.
All right. So we're going to start here. Jacob Marcus, what do you think of Skeets? Or sorry, what do you all think of Skeets? I'm going to PJ's event, and I'm thinking of running him with starter Loki for an undying kind of team. Full points, of course. 115. Got to get out that Mr. Mind. Tom, what do you think of Skeets?
What? What's Skeets?
Oh, jeez. You haven't seen the prize Skeets?
No.
Oh, I'm going to have to pull him up on HC Realms, I think.
Carry on.
Awesome.
Talk to PJ. What do you think of Skeets while I'm pulling him up?
I actually like that piece a lot. I love the fact that he has 3 stop clicks and that it's not on defense. So make them infinitely useful.
Because I don't know what you're talking about, you could just say anything. I like the fact that for 30 points, he has 5 clicks of invincible and 5 damage, 12 attack.
All right. Well, Tom, because
you're not that far off, Tom.
Yeah, it's true. So Skeets is available at 2-point values, either 35 or 115. At 35 points, you get a 2-click dial that has a special movement power. Adjacent friendly characters modify their attack values by +1. If that character's name Booster Gold, modify his attack value by +2 instead. He also has enhancement, Indomitable. He is tiny and he flies. He's got the PD team ability and 4 range. But if you pay 115 points for Skeets, he turns into Mr. Mind on these last 3 clicks that are, yes, all of them have stop on their damage special power. He's got a special attack power that says Skeets can use Penetrating Psychic Blast with a range value of 9. When he does, after actions resolve, give an action token to all hit targets. And of course, he'll still keep his 2 lightning bolts in that case. And then, of course, he's got stop and the colossal symbol, and can't be healed as part of his damage power. So he goes from tiny to colossal. He turns into a big Mr. Mind if you read the first 52. He starts on those last 3 clicks with sidestep and moves into hypersonic. Tom, what are your thoughts on Skeets?
Pretty good. Too bad he can't heal. Otherwise, pretty good. 3 straight stop clicks. That ain't bad.
Plus, he gains monster keyword at 115 points.
Oh, he's got a star beside that?
Yeah, he doesn't have. It's in that first trait when you play him 115. That's when he gets monster keyword because of the Mr. Mind.
Great. Playing with Belflagor.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, Tom? Ever since you played Belphegor against me, I have been trying to do teams with him nonstop.
Little do you realize that was more good luck than good management, that it did well at all. But you'll figure that out in about a year.
I've used him to some success in some smaller tournaments recently, so I'm kind of learning how this guy is working.
I'll take any excuse to play that set. I love that set.
Yeah. All right. Jay?
Yeah, he should definitely see some future play. Not necessarily right this second, but it's there. And I also do even like him with the 30. Because, +1 attack, +1 damage. We're going to lose Henry soon. And PD on top of all that. Yeah.
All right, cool. So next, we move on to the official, the maker of the stamp,
Yes.
Mr. Chris Stockhouse. Put a stamp on it. He asks, how does an all-bomb team sound for limited events? At least in Rock Age, you can do a lot of fun things. Something like Anarchy Prime with a Gamma Bomb, a Thunderbolt Ross, a Bomb Batman, a D20 Strange. Any piece I'm missing? Does it rely too much on the same type of damage to be competitive? I like this idea. I've seen this idea presented to me in a few different ways, with the whole like leaving your starting area just a goddamn nightmare.
A minefield.
Well, we talked about this actually when we were in Columbus, and I was talking about this crazy bomb team idea I had, which was a whole Gotham bomb team, because it was going to be Anarchy, 2 of the Batmans with the bombs. I think I had like 2 Bat Knights in there too, or something. It was a really weird team, and the Joker was going to be one of the vehicles for the bombs, because he doesn't care, right? He's like, I'll run around with a bomb. What do I care? So I love the idea. Like, I mean, have fun with it, right? Like, I don't think that it would take you far competitive. I think that there'd be enough stuff that could potentially take it apart, and it does feel a little pigeonhole-y, if that's a word. But I mean, anytime the map is full of bombs, it's no good for nobody.
Yeah.
So go for it. Why not?
I mean, Rock Age Limited, I'm starting to think of Black Talon, Morphing Jar, and Magneto in there.
I was thinking of Black Talon something, certainly.
Because remember the rare
Magneto goes into the starting zone and drops some serious missiles.
With Cape Canaveral Magneto dropping bombs across the board. Oh, man. People have tried that thing on me, and it terrifies me to the point where I just kind of, at one point, played 2 different teams. One of them stayed back towards my starting area, waiting to punch Magneto in the face. Because I think that prior to the Rock Age format, it was a Shatterstar strategy. So it was like, Shatterstar. Oh, hold on a second. I know what you're doing, and I'm not going to let you do it. So, PJ?
I think it's cute. I think it's fun. I don't think it's competitive. No penetrating damage on any of that, I don't think. So, like, you're countered by invulnerability. So,
you're slowed down by invulnerability. You're not countered.
I think it's okay. Like, I saw somebody playing it with like the shredder that blows up, piloting a Punisher van, and driving it into people and blowing it up. So he was like playing the Atom to retaliate his own stuff, to kill it, to blow it up, and so that's fun. He obviously didn't do very well. I feel like somebody top 8'd somewhere with some type of team like that.
Of course, it was an 8-person event.
It was like 14, but
does he have a big red beard and happen to be on the Metal Lab now?
No, no. I did top 8 with Punisher Van, but that's
you and the Punisher Van had a little bit of a tryst for a bit.
That reminds me of Sharif's team, which was the original Ultron drones from the movie set, and Red Sun Batman, his mobile bombs.
I remember that, where it's like, I'm losing points, but you're dying. Stop it!
Was it Ironmonger 2.0? Is that?
Yeah, he's also one of those.
Yeah, he's good for that.
Yep. Oh, man, I'm so glad Ironmonger 2.0 doesn't exist in the same world as the Devil Dinosaur, man.
Well, that's a very Chris team, like Ironmonger 2.0. He played very well with that team, I recall, a couple of years ago.
Yeah. back before he gave us a stamp.
That's right. around that time.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I was at that event that he got like second or top 4 with an Iron Monger 2.0.
I believe you beat me at that event, if memory serves correctly, in top 8 or top 16.
Definitely, maybe.
Yeah.
And in the last of the Facebook comments, Christopher Smotherman has wanted to take a point, or has pointed out that he's taking a break from Elder Scrolls Online because Tom Cruise on the show.
Wow.
I think we found the guy who keeps commenting, I miss Tom.
That's actually been me the whole time. Just trolling you while I'm away. Where's Tom?
Who's Tom, guys? Like, I don't know.
The show's just not the same without him, man.
Well, yeah, that was one of Nathaniel's points. He's like, "Hey, where are the charts? You've had months to create them."
That's true, but I've been doing nothing.
It's a chart. It's just a blank thing of how much Clixed he's been playing.
Yeah, exactly. My charts for the last couple of sets would just be a whole bunch of empty spreadsheets with question marks in them, and then it will say Trelane somewhere.
Yeah, you didn't make it up to any of the WKOs, did you?
No, I didn't. I heard you guys did pretty well. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's why we won.
In Tom's absence, I was able to crush everybody. Mike Payne is gone. Tom is gone. Apparently, I'm good.
That's way more credit than I deserve. No, good job. Great job, yeah. I look forward to being at the next one and actually playing,
Yeah, I look forward to hoping that I can make it to the next one. We'll see how things go.
Yeah, 4-1's going to be sealed again. It was voted by the council.
I'm totally into it.
Suits me. I love sealed.
Yep, loving it.
Wizkids has been doing such a good job lately with sets that I'm okay with sealed. I mean, granted, I made top 8 with a team I had no business making a top 8 win at one point at 401, but that's because of shenanigans involving Trevor leaving. Probably could have built my team a little better, and I didn't, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, let's carry on to Tiger Alchemist's first question here. Do you think Old Man Hawkeye is in the X-Men set or the Avengers set? I feel like he's going to make his way into Avengers Infinity. I don't think he's going to make his way into this set. That's my hypothetical. Tom, what do you think?
I'll take the other side of that. I don't know there's that many other old man characters that they either can or are more likely that they will make. And so I'll bet you that he'll find his way into this one.
I just don't want inbred Hulk.
Neither do I, admittedly.
Yeah. You know what? Old Man Logan is one of those dividing factors. Like Hulk fan and Wolverine fans, they usually get along because like Wolverine showed up in a Hulk comic and whatever. And then there's Old Man Logans that get out. No.
I don't mind the Hulk gang. I would take a few Hulk gang like commons. But
I think it's just something about the line when Bruce Banner mentions why he had to hook up with She-Hulk because she was the only one who could take it.
Yeah,
it's just a bit.
Cringeworthy. Mike, what do you think? Hawkeye going to make it into this set or?
I feel like no. I feel like the set X-Men sets are already pretty difficult to get figures into because there's so many X and X-related characters. The slots are like prime spots. I think that we're going to. I think we'll see him in an Avengers. Well, I would hope we would. I kind of agree with Tom. There's not a ton of figures that they could come up. I mean, they could stretch it, especially now that Old Man Logan continued on as his own series. He has gone back to that world. You could do the daughter of Hawkeye's daughter with the spider powers. I don't even know what her name was.
I was trying to remember who that was. Or like the gangster, like the.
We had the Daredevil and Punisher for all of like a minute before they got eaten by dinosaurs. Maybe have Crazy Red Skull wearing the Captain America mask, having his little freak out moment. I mean, there's some characters there, but it doesn't feel like there's even enough to really pull off a subset that anybody would care about. So I would be surprised to see Old Man Hawkeye taking up a slot in this set as opposed to Avengers.
PJ?
I don't think we'll see it in either one. I just
we're covering all the ground that we can. Yeah. Jay's answer should be he's going to be in all of them, and then we'll definitely be right no matter what happens.
We're going to have 8 versions of him from now on.
Yeah. Jay, is that your answer?
No.
Well, then that's what's going to happen, and we'll all be wrong.
Yeah, way to go. Metal Lab was wrong 100% now.
I'm changing my answer. He's in both sets.
All right, Jay, what's your speculation there? Are you going to see Hawkeye in this one or the next one?
My money is on the Avengers set because X-Men sets just don't have sub-themes. Like, nothing in any of the X-Men sets have just not been straight up X-related. Like, you get random stuff sometimes, but these just never happen in these sets, so I'm highly thinking that it's not going to happen. But if we got one-armed Ollie being the best ever, I think Blind Hawkeye is just going to somehow be better than the other one.
He's just exactly the same dial, but like one higher range.
Well, for sure, it'll be something like he ignores everything. He just shoots through walls, right? Because he's blind anyway.
He's like, I'm not looking.
But isn't that what? Wait, isn't that exactly what they did with Joker's Wild and Avengers Defenders War? They just gave us the same dial for cheaper.
No, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that kind of how it went with the Green Arrow into the Hawkeye?
Literally a third cheaper, yeah.
Hawkeye will be like Yondu, where he
Doesn't
can
even
just
need line of fire.
Yeah, it doesn't need line of fire or
I had a
range.
lot of fun with that guy.
We'll just change him to no line of fire or range, even.
It's always weird when you have to say my blind character draws a line of fire.
I'm just going to cover the one piece that we didn't cover. Con exclusive.
That's fair. Okay, we're definitely right.
Now we've covered all the ground.
There you go. Yeah, comics. Actually, I would bet that more than the Avengers set. Actually,
It's actually a really good point.
I mean, we'll probably get a Hawkeye Jeep before we get a Blind Hawkeye.
Hawkeye Jeep.
We're
no, but
getting
let it come with
spider
it.
buggy, man.
No,
Let
but
it come with
that's
its
what
own
we are
map. It's
getting.
just a big long road to the desert.
But that is, we are getting the Hawkeye Jeep because didn't he? And they end up in the spider buggy. That's what they're riding around
to
in.
begin with.
Yeah. So we are getting the Hawkeye Jeep because it
Well,
was
yeah.
the spider buggy
Oh man, the joke I made many moons ago.
coming back to haunt
Coming
you.
back to haunt me.
Now we
All
just
right.
need a Thanos copter.
People
We're all
putting
for
I
that.
hope this,
That's what I.
PJ, have you been in the chat recently? Because I'm not seeing the capital letter question that I usually ask for, and I don't
Oh
know
my
if anybody's
God.
asking anything or is this conversation.
I don't think there were many questions.
And
I've been scanning it in the
Oh,
Discord.
Cody Beckman's got a good one. I don't get it. I don't know who Tom Kerr is, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask.
He's no one.
Best kept secret of HeroClix.
Boys in Heroclix.
Oh man, yeah, there's a lot of comments about Mike and Tom being Mike Payne being like
Yeah.
funny men and actors. Because Mike Payne, our old host, is yeah, no, doesn't look like there's any questions in the chat today. Awesome. All right, well, let's
Rock
continue going through the Discord to make sure I didn't miss any. Nathaniel did mention that Old Man Logan is old. He is a man, and he is Logan.
Not wrong.
It's hard to argue with any of that.
Yeah. Mr. Sinister the question is Mr. Sinister, great or greatest real name? Stop that, Nathaniel. Why do I read those out loud? Why do
I already answered him that he's totally wrong.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, because Dr. Doom beats them both in title and name. That's
Yep.
One popped up in YouTube.
Yeah, I just saw it, so I'm just going to finish up with Discord here. What do you guys think of the figures spoiled by Scott Porter? I was about to ask their opinions on those characters. I mean, from what I saw and what I caught, I didn't watch all of them, but I watched some of them, and they seem neato. I mean, he seemed very down on Rusty and Skids, but whatever. That's his disapproval. Tom, your thoughts in general, or did you watch them?
Well, I haven't been watching the unboxings, but I've been watching the evidence thread. Like I said earlier, I really love Generation X. I'm glad that we're getting a lot of them. I'm really glad we're getting pennants from Generation X. I guess somebody had to choose it, but hey, I'll take it because I think it's great. Like I remember I literally remember, as opposed to figuratively remembering, that I saw a posting on Clixed HC Realms a little while ago that was like penance is up, and I got super pumped. And it turned out to be like emo speedball. So none of that. I want real penance, and then we're getting it. So I'm excited.
You want your real penance? I'll give you penance.
That sounded really funny. Emo speedball.
Well, I mean, that's basically what penance is. Emo speedball, right?
Yep.
I did bad things. I'm powerful now. PJ, your thoughts?
So I have two opinions from the Scott Porter videos. One, I love Chase Iceman. I think it's sweet. I think he's great at both point values, but we'll probably go into that more later.
Oh, yeah.
And then second, I don't know if anybody watched. I think it was like his third video. Maybe his fourth
here it
one.
comes. In fact, it was when he was talking about penance.
Yes, when he took a jab at Pat in Paris. That was kind of distasteful.
That was okay.
He gave a shout out to the person who picked the UK champion for picking that figure and not putting themselves on the
or
figure.
being humble enough to not put.
That was it. Sorry, that was the line.
And I know me and Scott actually got into a comment discussion about this in his YouTube video because I had to remind him national champions don't get to do that. They get to pick a name of a figure and then WizKids does the rest. It's not like world champion where they get input on the figure and the dial, right? And then I'm not like, from what I understand, the input as far as model is concerned has gone a little bit lower since certain Harley Quinn had a lot of insinuations dealt towards it. Now I know that wasn't the intent, but it was the way it looked, man.
That was a poor choice. That was a really poor choice.
Mike, your thoughts?
What was the question again? It went off the rails.
What did you think of the figures previewed by Scott Porter?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's an X-Men set. I'm an X fan. It's funny when Scott's talking about that stuff. A lot of the stuff he mentions, I'm a big fan of. Exiles. I'm a huge Iceman fan. He's probably one of my all-time favorite mutants. I have been yearning for an Omega level Iceman for the longest time, especially for an Age of Apocalypse. The sculpt is gorgeous. I had my fingers and toes crossed that he was going to pull one because I wanted to see what it looked like. I'm super stoked for that figure. I would, even without knowing dials of other chases, I would do a 1-for-1 chase trade away for that Iceman in a heartbeat. That's how excited I am for it. Set looks fun. I think it's gonna be fun. I hope it continues with what Harley set for a good sealed set. I hope it plays well in sealed tournament. That's really what I'm most excited for. It feels like it's going to, but we really won't know until we start popping boosters and seeing what happens. So,
all right, Jay.
Outside of stuff we already knew before, I guess I'm most excited about the rare magic because she looks pretty cool, and the monster magic that she turns into should be pretty cool as well. And she has exiles, which is a surprise because normally in these X-Men sets we get like one character with exiles, so more than one is apparently an unknown magical thing that happens. But yeah, it's looking like a lot of fun. Not as much for me because my X interests are very limited, but even then they managed to throw in the things that I like a couple X-statics, couple exiles, just some nice random stuff that I happen to enjoy.
All right, awesome. Next from the Discord was Nathaniel wanted to know, Tom, what are your thoughts on triples? Yours specifically, because we've all given our thoughts on the triples.
All right, let me remind myself of them because I read them like a month ago.
5 points, 3 defense. They slow people down who are adjacent to them, and they can.
No. Yeah, you're right. I think they're great. I understand they're kind of difficult to get a hold of, but I mean, they're a great marriage of. I always like it when a mechanic manages to do a good job of representing what it's supposed to represent from the source material, which I think that they kind of do. And so for that reason, if nothing else, then I think that they're a cool addition to the game, even if they are hard to get your hands on. And they're annoying, which is what triples are. So why not? But do I think they're super competitive? I mean, they certainly, if you have a lot of them, rock on.
Yeah. They're only difficult to get if your name is Jason Collins. Other people pull like 7 of them in a brick.
Yeah.
I have pulled 7 of them from people like my friend Aiden has been just kind of throwing them at me because he doesn't care. He's more interested in the main crew characters. It's like, all right, cool. Thank you for the triples. I really appreciate it. Man, do I owe you some favors, though.
I mean, to be fair, they're also like they're just just shuffling points away if you want to. So that's just the risk. But I don't know. There's ways of making that work.
I need them. I need them for my King Shark animal team of grossness. Give me your triples.
All right. William Dickey has a question in the chat. It's going to be the last one we cover for tonight. Which of the spoiled characters do you hope have ID cards? I think I covered mine while we were talking about it, but Old Man Logan, I hope he gets an ID card that can call him in, because I would like to be a little bit more positive about that character, to be brutally honest. For what he offers, he's pretty neato, and the chance to call him in for just a turn, what he could do for a team could go a long way. That's my thoughts there. Tom, your thoughts?
I'm glitching again.
Yeah, you glitched for a second there. Nope. Still. It's always the question portion where Tom's internet.
I know. It really. Okay, say again. This time, I think I can hear you.
Which character? Which of the spoiled figures do you hope have ID cards?
Oh, it's an interesting question. I mean, Magneto certainly. We're getting a lot of variations on him, and I'm off the top of my head. That's what I'll say.
All right, Magneto. Was there anything else that you said, or is Magneto the only one?
Magneto's the one that comes to my mind off the top of my head. If I really dug into it, then I'm sure there are some other ones that would be useful, but they're certainly, I think, one of the most versatile ones right out the gate.
Just wanted to make sure because your internet cut out after you said Magneto.
That sounds about right.
PJ?
Me? Okay, sorry. I would like to see, obviously, an Iceman, which I fully expect to see. I would actually like to see him get a student and teacher, so I can call in 2 Icemans, but that's being greedy, I guess. I would also like to see a Kitty Pryde that has Shadowcat.
Mm-hmm. That would be cool.
That would be pretty cool. All right, Mike?
I would have said Iceman, of course. And I think Forge. Are we getting a Forge one? We should have a Forge one for that. Forge.
I don't know. They might actually find their way to not give us a Forge one. Who knows?
I mean, that's a tough one because if it's only teachers and students, he's always been kind of on the periphery. Mm-hmm. Yeah, to be honest, I feel like all the ones that I pop up in my head, we're going to see. We'll see Cyclops. We'll see Iceman. We'll see Beast. We'll see, you know what I mean? We have to see those 5. I mean, we have to see the X-Men First Class. We're getting like at least 2 different versions of those figures in the set. So, yeah, it's hard to really think of any that we're not really going to get. I would think we'd get Storm too. So,
yeah,
Iceman.
All right, Jay?
I know there's no chance that we don't get it, but I am looking forward to the Wolverine one because that'll probably be some really cool inspiration. And I like Charge Flurry, or Charge kind of aggressive Collins, and he should be doing that. Or you call in the Headmaster, who will charge and then sidestep away and just disappear because that's always fun.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. On that note, I want to thank the crew for being on the show with me, especially Mr. Tom Kerr. It's been a pleasure hearing your wonderful dulcet tones.
Thank you.
It's so great to hear you again. It's so great to be on the show with you again. Hope we get to see more of you, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
As well, PJ, Mike, Jay, thank you guys very much. I see you guys every week, so you don't get a really big thank you for being on the show. It's it's been the most consistent crew we've had in a while. We also have to thank our sponsors over at hcrealms.com. Check out HC Realms, as it's the source for all things HeroClix related. Check out the forums for the conversation. Check out the unit section. Track your collection. Build your teams on there. It's a really useful tool. Everybody uses it. It's probably one of the best ones out there. It's actually the best one out there, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And so check that out. And while you're there, jump into the shop, put in the coupon code MARRIED for 10% off of your purchase. As well, we're brought to you in part by Majestics, ccg.com. Check out their premium site, the Apex Insiders. If you want to go directly there, it's Majestics, ccg.com/Apex-Insiders, or check out the link in the description below. They're a great place to get articles from some of the great minds in HeroClix, and some psycho minds like myself do contribute to them as well. Jay's fringe articles make their way there on a regular basis. PJ is a regular contributor there as well. So $3 a month gets you access to the premium site. But check it out anyway. There's regular tournament updates and all kinds of reports going on there. Sometimes there's also articles that you don't need to be a premium member to access. Sometimes mine, sometimes not mine. I'm currently in the midst of a series similar to how I'm running the Metafix, but I'm focusing on the ROC Limited on my written article series. So pretty soon I'm going to have to actually get some test work done and see what I have to modify on the team I initially started with and go from there. Kind of leaning on figure factoring out things and seeing what kind of damage I can do with that in a limited format. But again, majesticccg.com/apex-insiders. Join them, $3 a month. Really, really worth the small price to pay. But on that note, X-Men's around the corner. I can't wait to get our hands on it. There's going to be pre-releases very soon of these coming up towards the end of the month. The set comes out on Valentine's Day, so thank goodness me and my wife don't care about Valentine's Day, as we'll get to open. We're going to celebrate ours by opening Heroclix. Thank you very much.
I love X-Men.
And Mike will be buying his chocolates in the hopes that he gets an Iceman. It's just, hey, I knew you were coming.
Oh, yeah.
But without further ado, guys, it's time to start thinking about your teams for the future events. There's going to be 1 or 2 sets between here and Canadian Nationals, 2 or 3 sets between here and Worlds. It's time to start thinking about those ideas. And once you have those ideas out, time to get some practice. Because practice, Tom's glitched out to makes
Or
team
Better.
Oh man, Tom Internet. Oh, you know what's funny? The first time we do the team practice makes your team better on the way out, the guy who's done it the most in this room is the one who screws it up because of his internet. Have a good night, everybody.